Hi, my name's Carol Ricard, and welcome back to the next session. Here's what we've done so far. Quick review. We took a look at what stress is, right? And that's our response to a change or a situation. And the next session, what we did was we looked at what are your responses, right? Some you can control, some you can't control. Well, in this session, what I want to share with you is my #1 stress tool. And quite honestly, I knew about this tool for a good number of years before I actually put it into practice. And it's really designed for those stressors and those things in life that you can't control. So when I went to work in a hospital, there's a lot that I didn't get to control, right? I didn't get to control whether my coworkers showed up for work or how many patients showed up that day, or actually even how many patients and how sick the patients were that day. And so what I discovered was this old tool that I had learned about, which I kind of put into a practice. So if you've ever heard of the Serenity Prayer, all right, it can be used as a Serenity Prayer or just even the Serenity Tool. And so with my patients, what I actually came up with was, I called it the Serenity Tool. And here's how it goes. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Now, that's really good all said and done, but what we got to do is really take what you've written down and we're going to put it into practice. So in this case, you're going to need what your stress sources were. And what I want you to do is I want you to take and on this particular worksheet, the Serenity Stress Tool, what I'm asking you to do is to look through all the things in your life that are creating and causing you stress. And I want you to divide them into two categories. There's the things that you cannot do anything about. And then there's the things that you can change. So for example, under mine, what I put down was coworkers calling out sick, or hospital policies, or just even kind of things within my work situation that I couldn't control. But under the can change were the things that I could, making sure that I get outside during the middle of the day, feeling closed in, whether or not I had coworkers that I let get to me. And the way we do this is we kind of start to break down what can we do something about and what we can't do something about. Because here's where we got to focus our attention. We have to focus our attention on what we can change and work on letting go of what we can't change. Now, this is something you can get good at doing right in the moment, quite honestly. And I want to share, this is my next tool with you. So I call this the Carol's Serenity in the Moment tool. And here's what I mean by that. You are on your way to you're on your way to work, and all of a sudden there's an accident and you can't get around it, right? And you're stuck, you're going to be late from work. So maybe you pick up the phone, you call your boss, tell them that there's an accident. But using this Serenity tool in the moment, here's what you would say to yourself. Can I do anything about it right now? And if you can, you do it, right? If you can't, you gotta let it go. So I might repeat this. In fact, there was one time where believe it or not, I was on my way to my sister's funeral out in Nevada. And we'd gotten on the airplane. Plane was about ready to take off, and then we sat for 2 hours on the tarmac. And by the time we got going, I knew I was already going to miss my connecting flight in Utah in order to get into Nevada. And what I had to keep saying over and over and over in my head was really, I said, the whole Serenity tool. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things I can. And the other key here is the wisdom to know the difference, right? So I just kept repeating that over and over and over in my head. And by the time I got to Utah, Of course, the next flight they couldn't get me on was until the next morning. I kept saying that and using this tool over and over and over. And even though I felt like crap, I was crying, the thing that didn't happen to me that would have if I hadn't used this tool was I ended up not getting a migraine. So it has great power because we can do it right there in the moment. So again, the idea of this is ask yourself this question: can I do anything about it right now? Because that's the secret. Because if you ask yourself, can I do anything about it right now? I could have said, yeah, stupid, you could have left to work on time, right? It's right now. And then here's what I want you to do until you can get good at doing this in your head. You write down what it is that you can't do something about. Put it right there on the paper. And then what I want you to do is I want you to rip the paper in half and destroy. Just rip it up into little pieces of paper. If you got a shredder at work, get rid of it and destroy what it is that you can't do anything about. And the goal is that eventually by doing this, you will actually be able to do this in your mind without even having to write things down. I have to tell you, this has been my number one tool. It has saved me. When you get to the point where you can actually do it in your mind, you could be sitting in a staff meeting and actually just be using this tool in your mind, and nobody else needs to know that that's what you're doing. So again, I call this a Serenity Stress Tool. It is my number one tool, and you can use it any moment, anytime that you want to. So I will see you in the next session.